Am I the asshole for not having my stepdaughter in the family photo? I, 32 female, and my husband Jack, 36 male, have 3 kids together. Lydia, 5, Carol, 2, Solomon, 8. Jack has an Ephraim, 8 female from a different marriage. It's our last week of summer before the kids start school, so we decided to rent a lovely little beach cottage for the week. It's a common theme in my family to take Christmas card photos while on vacation, so naturally I wanted to take the photos while we were away. Here's a problem. Jack is white, but Ephraim's mom is black and she turned out looking very much like her. I don't care what race she is, but my parents, however, are pretty racist. I have limited contact with them for several reasons, so they've never met Ephraim, but we're on Christmas card terms. I don't want to send them a card that Ephraim is on because they will make a fuss about the certain word with the hard R, child. So my plan was to take pictures with just me, husband, and bio kids for my parents and a couple other relatives, and then have her be in the picture for Jack's family and our friends. But when I called picture time and told Ephraim she wasn't going to be in this picture but the next one, she started to look upset. I did let her take our pictures, which lifted her spirits, and we got some lovely pictures with her too. We also got some ice cream and she hasn't been upset beyond that initial moment. The trouble came later when Jack asked why I didn't want Ephraim in the photo. He said he thought it was maybe so I could get one with all of my kids. I didn't want to lie to him, so I told him why, because I don't want Ephraim to be exposed to people who could potentially and emotionally hurt her. Just like that, he went from being understanding to pissed. And I guess he said, she didn't want you in her picture because you're black, or something like that to his daughter, and now she's upset with me too. I really wasn't trying to hurt her in any way. I did this out of care and love, but I think I might have done it in a wrong way. So, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for helping my friend catch her boyfriend cheating? I, 27 female, and my friend Abby, 26 female, have known each other for our whole lives. Abby and her boyfriend Tony, 29 male, have been together for 3 years. Everything seemed to be going well between them, but over the last few months, things have started to go downhill. Abby has been telling me for months now that she is certain Tony has been cheating on her. However, she has no evidence, she just has a gut feeling that won't go away. After stressing out over it for months, she finally decided that she had to catch him in the act. A month ago, Abby came over to my house and told me that she had a huge favor to ask me. She told me that she knew I was Tony's type and he would go bonkers if I were to hit on him. She told me that she wanted me to accidentally bump into him at different places that he would go to. She would tell me in advance where he would be and what time he would be there. She then told me to gradually become more flirty over text and call in order to make it appear more real. I was hesitant at first, but Abby was crying and begging me to do this. She had to know the truth. I eventually gave in and went forward with the plan a couple of days later. To make a long story short, Tony fell for my fake advances almost immediately. Within the first week, he was saying how hot I was and how he's had a crush on me and that he wanted to hang out. The final nail in the coffin that confirmed everything all took place yesterday. We made plans to meet at an obscure motel with the intention of hooking up. Abby went to the motel before me and Tony in order to catch him red-handed. After me and Tony arrived, he gave me a hug and started making out with me. Abby jumped out of hiding and started screaming at him that they were over. She exposed him all over social media, which resulted in him getting trashed by most of their friends. Abby thanks me and says she finally got the closure that she needed. However, a few people are saying that what I did was tacky and immature. They're saying I should have stayed out of the relationship entirely. So, am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for helping my sister and her husband start their life together? My little sister recently got married. She asked me to help make the beginning of their lives easier, and I agreed. We bought them a house, paid off their student loans, and gave them money to put away. At the time, my wife had no problem with it. But my sister and her had a dispute, which caused my sister to call her a leech who thinks my brother's money is hers. Now my wife is upset at me for helping them and demanding they pay us back. She apparently used my phone to text my sister that she needed to pay us back with interest. My sister thought it came from me and was upset that I'd attached stipulations after the fact. I was confused and she explained things to me and I realized my wife must have done it. Am I the asshole for helping my sister and her husband start their life together? I don't understand why my wife is upset. So I told my wife that I can't just ask my sister to pay me back when she doesn't have the money to. She says my sister could make it the way we did. I told her that was unreasonable and she said what's unreasonable is you spending hundreds of thousands on your sister. I reminded her that we paid for her mother's hip, her brother's cancer treatment, and her father's hospital bill after a stroke. She said that's different and I need to get my priorities straight and drop them. While I agree, I feel obligated to help friends and family who aren't as fortunate as me. Am I the asshole for buying my girlfriend fake perfume? I've dated my girlfriend for a little under a year now. I've come to love her a lot and my love language is gift giving. She's always been the type of girl that's just not hard to love. Guys always approach her and understandably. She could easily be anyone's dream girl. Everything about her is feminine down to her hands and how she comforts me or makes me food. She has an expensive look to her but does all her self-care herself and is amazingly cost efficient about it. Most of the guys that approach her are trust fund babies. It makes me feel like less of a man because I'm nothing like those guys and it makes me feel like a bum. One day while walking past her computer, I noticed she was looking at a designer perfume and I told her I'd get it for her. She's very adamant that she doesn't want me to get it for her. Am I the asshole for buying my girlfriend fake perfume? I look into it and the perfume is $300. WTF. I don't see the point in that, but my pride would be hurt if I went back on my word, so I find a fake on eBay for much cheaper. She sprays it and she has a blank expression. I ask what's wrong and she gives me a hug and a kiss on the cheek thanking me. I don't know why, but it made me feel like shit. I was expecting a bigger reaction. I keep pushing and she tells me she loves the idea, but it's obviously fake. I felt this was extremely ungrateful and I called her a brat for even caring if it was fake or not. I said she was materialistic by literally just looking at it and smelling it and thinking it was fake. She said it's dumb that I made a big show about getting it for her if I was just going to do this.
My husband and I, both in our early 30s, have been together for over a decade and made the decision not to have kids. I like kids, I have nieces and nephews, but we just don't want them for our own reasons. He had a vasectomy, which only a few people know about. Our families are aware we don't want kids, as they've asked us before during different major life events. Our wedding, for instance. We recently bought a 3-bedroom home with a nice yard in a nice area. Excited to show our new home to family and friends, major upgrade from our previous home, we hosted a housewarming. During the party, one of my sibling-in-laws, Alex, made a few indirect comments about all the space and how kids would love it in our house. Eventually, they asked point blank when we were having kids. I made a lighthearted joke about it, which is my go-to for this question. Oh, well, I like sushi too much to have to give it up for pregnancy. Plus, not drinking for pregnancy and breastfeeding? No thanks. I try to make it very lighthearted and laugh it off. Most people just laughed along. That seemed to anger Alex, and I was told, children are a joy and a good mother puts her kids before everything else. I agreed. Children are a joy. I like spending time with my nieces and nephews, and obviously I can't be a good mom if I chose sushi over kids, so I just won't be a mom. I was still trying to brush it off in a gentle way because I'm not trying to start a fight by telling them to stop asking in front of everyone because I know my tone will be seen as rude and abrasive. We move on, but Alex is still annoyed and making little comments in their group about how flippant I am about it and how when it finally happens, then I'll understand. My husband heard this and said jokingly, well, if she gets pregnant, that'll be a problem for the divorce lawyers. That seemed to piss them off more, but they stopped. With the holidays coming up, we haven't been invited to Alex's usual Halloween bonfire. When my husband spoke to his parents, they told him that Alex was annoyed that we were so careless and callous about our child-free status. They had realized that we had taken permanent steps to ensure we never had kids. Alex said we know that they had to do IF treatments just to have kids and that we're assholes to just not care. I feel bad because they did do IF and lots of fertility treatments to have their kids, and even then they still had a few miscarriages. I can't imagine wanting kids and struggling to have them and then deal with miscarriages. But at the same time, I'm so tired of justifying and living my life how I want to. I guess I hurt their feelings by saying that I prefer sushi to children. Am I the asshole for saying that? I'm 20 and recently found out that I'm pregnant, which came as a surprise because I'm on birth control. I made an appointment with an OB that's close to me with high ratings to confirm the pregnancy. When I walked in, I was immediately concerned because the woman behind the desk is a friend of my mom's. They're not super close and I hadn't seen her in years, but they've known each other since high school and I know that they sort of keep in touch. I didn't feel ready to tell anyone other than my boyfriend and obviously the doctor about the baby. I was freaking out a little, but my boyfriend assured me that she wouldn't be able to say anything to my mom about the baby without my consent. When I got home, my mom was already waiting for me because she already knew about the baby. Apparently her friend had texted to congratulate her before I could even make it home. Everything's gonna be okay, my mom is being super supportive, but honestly, I'm pissed at this lady and I want to report her to the OB. My family is supportive of the baby, but if she had opened her big mouth to someone with a different kind of family, the outcome could have been really bad. My boyfriend agrees with me, but thinks it's kind of Karen-ish. On the other hand, my mom thinks her friend crossed a few lines, but to report her and potentially put her employment at risk would be petty and an asshole move. I think my mom's friend is an asshole and potentially a dangerous one at that. Would I be the asshole for reporting her big mouth to her employer?
Am I the asshole for buying my cousin's dream car to prove a point? I, 26-year-old female, work a corporate job at a major fast food chain. I won't say the exact title, but I don't work at an office and spend most of my time visiting and coaching stores and associates. Because of this, my family seems to be under the impression that my job is a loser job, despite me making well over $150,000 a year. I think this perception is exasperated by the fact that I'm a frugal person who doesn't tend to surround myself with expensive things. My cousin, 34-year-old male, is a physics professor at a nearby state university and has done very little to hide the fact that he looks down on my job. From what I understand, we make similar money, but he's still paying off his doctorate degree. I didn't go to college. He has a much bigger house and mortgage and 2 kids. I'm child-free, meaning I have much more disposable income than him. For nearly 2 years, he's been talking about how he really wants a Tesla Model X and how he's slowly saving money for it. He'll joke about how much he wants it by describing how he sees it in his dreams in exquisite detail. Well, several months back while we were at my aunt's birthday party, my cousin made yet another backhanded joke about when I get a real job and make real money, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was so beyond done. I went back home immediately after the party and ordered a Tesla Model X for myself, exactly to the specifications he has described. So a couple of weeks ago, I picked up my car and brought it home. I didn't tell a single soul in my family I bought it, but yesterday I had plans to pick up my cousin's older son to babysit and I knew it was finally time. I rolled up to my cousin's house in my shiny new Tesla that I washed and polished just that morning specifically for this meetup. Needless to say, cousin was pissed. He asked me all about it with strained enthusiasm and got visibly more angry the more he noticed it was just like the one he wanted. So, in what I would assume was retaliation, he tried to make a comment about, wow, it must have been an adventure and a half to find a bank willing to give you a loan like this. I laughed him off and casually told him I wouldn't know since I paid in cash, which is true. He questioned me, so I pulled up a picture on my phone of the title with my name on it. I think that was what broke him because he quickly ended the conversation and went back inside. But now I've been getting messages from his siblings saying how I'm a petty bitch. Even my mom said that she thought he was an ass, but I shouldn't have escalated just because I could. And while I adore my new car, getting back at my cousin wasn't as satisfying as I thought I'd be. So I'm really beginning to wonder if I am the asshole here. Am I the asshole for waxing my 5-year-old daughter's unibrow? So my 5-year-old has a pretty thick dark unibrow that is very noticeable. Because of COVID, her preschool was online, therefore she was never bullied for having it. However, this past summer, her cousins came over to visit and many of them teased her for her unibrow. They'd call her countless names, and at just 5 years old, my daughter already thinks she is ugly. It breaks my heart because nobody, let alone a 5-year-old, should think they are ugly. I reassure my daughter she's beautiful and not to listen to her cousins, but my daughter still believes she is ugly. In a week, she is starting kindergarten, and I really do not want the bullying to get worse there. So yesterday, I took it in my hands to wax her unibrow. I didn't shape them or anything, just waxed the middle off to get rid of her unibrow. My daughter was elated, looking in the mirror and calling herself so pretty. It warmed my heart to see her so confident in herself, but I made sure to remind her she was beautiful both ways. When my husband came home, my daughter was so excited to show him her eyebrows. In front of her, he called her beautiful, but after she left, we had a huge fight. He said it was horrible of me to be subjecting my 5-year-old daughter to beauty standards. And at such a young age, I'm pushing it on her instead of telling her she is beautiful the way she is. And no 5-year-old should be waxing their eyebrows, and I'm pushing the mentality that she's only beautiful without her unibrow. And that my daughter is too young to know what she even wants, and she should have been able to make her decision to wax it off when she is old enough. I truly understand all the points he has made. However, my daughter has told me she wants to get rid of her unibrow, and I didn't want her to grow up with the bullying and teasing and blame me because I could have prevented it. So am I the asshole for waxing her unibrow?